Obviously, Pat, a massive fortnight ahead for Hibs, starting firstly with the biggest game in Scottish football, the Edinburgh derby against Heart of Midlothian at Tynecastle. What's the latest team news heading into that one?
Well, obviously Ryan came off injured last weekend, and he's a little bit of a doubt at the moment. He did some light stuff this morning, and we'll assess him again in the morning, see how he is. Tim Clancy's a little bit similar as well, so both of them, well, hopefully they'll train in the morning. They should be okay, but again, if they're not right, well, then we won't be taking a risk with them, to be honest.
What was the problem with Ryan? What was the injury there?
He just an extension on his. He was lucky actually looking at it on TV. He could have done a lot of serious damage, but we haven't. The scan has come back. That's fairly clear. He's just a little bit tender and bruised at the moment. And like I said, he's done some light stuff this morning. If there's no reaction to that, and he can do a little bit more tomorrow, then obviously he'll come into the picture.
How pleasing has it been to see the link-up play between McGivern and Harris on that left-hand side, because it resulted in a goal against Falkirk at Hampden and it resulted in another goal against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park?
Yeah, we've been pleased obviously with Ryan's a good player. The two young players as well. Sometimes you look at Ryan and you think he's played a lot of games, but he's still a fairly young player, and Alex has come in and been very, very good for us, and they've had a little bit of an understanding, particularly in the attacking sense. And like you say, the two goals are a little bit similar. Great balls from Ryan, and obviously he finished the one himself against Kilmarnock and picked out Lee for the one at Hamlin, so very pleased with that.
You mentioned Harris. He's obviously been a revelation since he was promoted into the first team. It seems as if there's quite a few young players knocking on the door right now. You obviously watched the team beat Celtic again, the second time in the space of just 3 days. How encouraging is it to see so many enthusiastic and confident young players coming up through the ranks?
That's fantastic. I think the fact that Alex and Danny and Ross have had a little taste of it has been helpful to the other players, because obviously they see it as a chance, to break through and get into the first team as well. So I think they've come in and done really well, and the other players have stepped up to the mark. And that, like you say, we've played Celtic obviously in the both games at Fairhill, and obviously here last night, and the performances were very, very good against a real good Celtic team that haven't lost too many games. But they've got to maintain that. That's the key. Young players is getting a bit of consistency with them, and also getting them into the team at the right time when we think the right time is for them. There's 3 games in a week, so it might be an opportunity to get 1 or 2 more into it, but it's getting them in at the right time and with the right type of player around them.
Is it reassuring then, as you touched on it there, that even with our limited squad, we've obviously got a limited in terms of numbers, that you can perhaps pick out a couple of guys from the under-20s that could potentially come in and do a job for those 3 games in the 6 days?
Yeah, I think we know we have some decent players. The ones that have come in have done really well, and there's 2 or 3 others that are sort of on the fringes that have been around the first team training wise, and young Bradley's come back as well, which is a plus, because we thought we might have lost him for the whole of the season, but he's come back and played the last 2 games. Great credit to him. He's been out for maybe 8-9 weeks and then come back and played 2 games fairly, very quickly back to back. So he's come through that, which is fantastic. And Jordan Forster has done really well, and young Dean Horriboyan. So we've got some good players, knocking on the door. Sammy Stanton again is one that picked up an injury, and we do have high hopes for Sammy in the future. So there is some good young players in the club.